How does Grendel's mother's lack of language affect him and alter his emotions and outlook on life? Grendel repeatedly shares his resentment towards his mother, calling her a life-bloating, baffled, long-suffering hag. Her constant silence bothers him to the point that he leaves her comfort to learn about the world on his own. She drives him to discover the Shaper and the dragon. Due to not having someone to confide in, he suffers within himself. He searches for something to fill a void and discover himself. However, his mother is obviously insane to an extent from the guilt she must possess from the past, something unremembered, perhaps an ancestral crime. So even if she could speak, it may not be the better outcome for Grendel. How does Grendel's feelings of isolation lead to his feelings of supreme superiority? Grendel's loneliness and separation from the rest of society allows him to believe that what he thinks and sees is what is. He says that the world is nothing, a mechanical chaos of casual brute enmity, and he alone exists. He was the ruiner of mead halls, wrecker of kings, but also was alone. Grendel's struggle through the whole story is his self-acceptance, from wanting to almost fit in or live the life he believes what he was destined to. All of his decisions result in isolation and hunger for power. How do the ways the Shaper and the dragon change Grendel differ? Which is better? Grendel has many mixed feelings towards the Shaper. On one hand, the Shaper's art enrages him because he knows it is just a form of manipulation, but he is also fascinated by it. He loves the beauty and unity it portrayed, and he wanted it, yes, but he must be an outcast. The dragon, however, explains to Grendel that he has no purpose in life, and he is a man's brute existence, and is to help them define themselves. He is to seek out gold and sit on it. Grendel fights with himself over who to believe. He leans towards what the Shaper stands for, but he is aware that the idea of order and beauty is unattainable to him. Lastly, is Grendel innately evil, or is it by choice? Grendel does have some self-determining driving force. Though portrayed by Grendel himself many times, he is not completely controlled by a blinding mechanical force. After listening to the Shaper, he was so filled with sorrow and tenderness he could hardly have found it in his heart to eat a pig. This shows a side of compassion and human in him. Later, when he is rejected, he begins his raids. He is settled in his soul on destroying Hrothgar. This allows us to see that the actions are motivated by more than just monstrosity.